Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, we have covered first point in our first unit in our integral equation paper, right? So, what we have seen in the first unit is first one we have seen the what are the types of integral equation, definition of integral equation, then types, and then we have seen how to convert the multiple integration to a single integration, and then we have seen how to convert a initial value problem to Volterra integral equation, and boundary value problem we have a Fredol integral equation. Okay. One point it is remaining in the first unit, that is Sturm-Lewis problem, that I will left for you people to solve. And if you are able to solve, it is good. Otherwise, you have to inform me that we are having this much of problem after solving. And in the wherever you are going to have something problem step, I will show that. Okay. So that is left for you people. In the first unit, we have only one point remaining, that is Sturm-Lewis problem. Only one problem is there. And I hope you can solve if you have solved many examples that related to IVP converted to Volterra and VVP converted to a Fredol integral equation. Okay. So go through that problem and try to solve it. And if you are not able to solve, you can communicate and I will solve it. Okay. At least in the fourth semester you can do this, because after this you have to prepare your anything if you want to do, you have to prepare on your own. Okay, let us go for the next topic. I will take it is Fredol integral equation. The topic name is Fredol integral equation. Okay. Now, I hope I have told you that there are many type of kernels in our integral equation, and this kernel is not having any relation with the kernel that we have seen in the group theory or in algebra. Okay, that kernel is going to map all the elements to an identity, but here it is not having any type of this. Simply, this kernel is having the thing that it is some function in provided interval. Okay. So now let us go for a Fredol integral equation. Okay. Now in that we are going to see first one is Fredol integral equation of a second kind with separable kernel. Okay. Before going to that, first we will see what is separable kernel. Okay. First we'll see what is a separable kernel. A kernel K of xt is called a separable kernel if, okay, let me have the definition itself, and you have to tell me how I should write down this. Okay, a kernel K of xt is called separable if it can be expressed as kernel K of xt is called separable if it can be expressed as sum of finite number of terms, sum of finite number of terms, finite number of terms each of which is product of x only and the function of t only, each of which is product of function of x only and function of t only. Yes. Can anyone explain me? Actually, I want to take all the types of a kernel at a time, but it will be good if we at the time that we need. Okay. Every time whenever we will need some type of a kernel, that time I will define this. So what is a separable kernel? Kernel is called a separable if it can be expressed as sum of finite number of terms, each of which is a product of function of x only and a function of t only. Okay. Yes, can anyone explain me or can anyone tell me what will be the equation k of xt is equals to? Okay, what is given here? Product of function of x only and function of t only. So what it will be? It will be some function of x and some function of t. What is the next? Finite number of terms, that is sum of finite number of terms. Sum of finite number of terms. So that I can write in the form of summation. I runs from 1 to n fi of x into gi of t. So this is what a kernel. So what is a kernel? It is simply sum of product of functions of x only and functions of t only. It will not be like fi of x t. Okay, it is simply a function of x only, and the second term will be a function of t only. Right? So what is a separable kernel? The name itself suggests that it is simply sum of product of functions of x only and the functions of t only. Okay, so this is what a separable kernel. Now we will see Fredol integral equation with a separable kernel. That means we are going to solve Fredol integral equation of a second kind with a separable, or we can degenerate kernel. Okay, separable kernel or a degenerate kernel. If it can be expressed as sum of finite number of terms, each of which is a product of functions of x only and functions of t only. If it is okay with this, now let us go for the consider the homogeneous Fredol integral equation of a second kind. Okay, what we are provided, consider homogeneous Fredol integral equation of a second kind. As it is a homogeneous, so f of x will be 0. And it is second kind, so g of x is equal to 1. Have you seen the notes that I have shared? Types of integral equation. Rather, I have shared many notes. बघितलेत का? Classroom work?
No, ma'am.
Why? Let me see whether it is shared to message.
Ma'am, you didn't share yet.
I think I have shared, no?
No, ma'am, we not get the notification.
Okay, okay. Let me share it. What? I have prepared it and I will share it. Okay. Now let us go for solving homogeneous equation of a second kind. Let me write here what we are going to solve. We want a second kind of we are going to solve Fredol integral equation of a second kind with separable kernel. For that, we consider homogeneous Fredol integral equation of second kind. As it is of second kind, g of x will be equal to 1. As it is homogeneous, f of x will be 0. So what we remains is integration as a to b, why it is a Fredol integral equation. And k of xt, y of t dt. Okay. So what is our aim to solve Fredol integral equation of a second kind with a separable current. As it is a Fredol integral equation, in that we are going to consider the first one is a homogeneous case. Okay. First we will consider homogeneous case, then later on we will go for non-homogeneous Fredol integral equation of second kind. Okay. The first we will see the Fredol integral equation that is of a homogeneous type and entity is second kind. As it is a second kind, g of x is 1, and as it is a homogeneous, f of x is 0. And what is given to us? It is having a separable kernel. So instead of having the value of k of xt here, we can substitute this one. Have you understood separable kernel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us go for solving by using the condition of k of xt. Y of x is equals to lambda integration a to b. Upper limit is constant because we are in the case of Fredholm integral equation. Okay. So let me put up the value of k of xt is nothing but summation over I fi of x into gi of t, and here y of t as it is dt. Okay. Now let me rename this as in some equation 1. Now, this equation 1 has always an obvious solution. What will be an obvious solution for equation 1? Can anyone tell me what will be an obvious solution for equation 1? Okay. What I can do is y of x is equals to lambda. Now, what will be the value of this integration as upper and lower limit both are constant? What will be the value of this integration after solving?
Some constant.
Right, some constant c. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me what will be the obvious solution for this equation y of x is equal to lambda into c? Zero solution is an obvious solution. No, I can have y of x is equal to 0. So, which means that lambda into c is equal to 0, which implies that constant c is a 0. Or rather, you can substitute the value of this constant, whatever you are going to evaluate, that you will get. And here, if you want to find out what is an obvious solution for this equation, we can say y of x is equal to 0 is an obvious solution. Barobar na?
Yes, ma'am.
If y of x is equal to 0 is an obvious or a trivial solution for equation 1, now we are not much more interested for a trivial solution. What we will do, we will find out the things such that y of x is not equal to 0. So now we are in the case of y of x not equal to 0. Okay, so here in this case, whatever this lambda you are going to see, this lambda is nothing but the eigenvalue. Later on, you will come to know how to find out eigenvalues and corresponding eigenvector. I hope you come across this in the linear algebra paper where you have studied what is eigenvalue and eigenvector. Now let us go for the case where that means we are going to study the case when y of x is non-zero, or rather we are going to study the non-trivial solution. Okay. Now let us assume that we are having the solution in the such a way that we will assume let phi of x is a solution corresponding to say lambda naught in such a way that it can be written as k of xt into phi of now it is in terms of t dt. So wherever you are having y, you can put it as phi of x, and corresponding to lambda naught, we are getting this solution. So corresponding to lambda naught, if you are having eigenvalue this much, so this is what an eigenvector corresponding to your eigenvalue lambda naught. Have you solved this type of an example, right? If you're having suppose the value of a lambda is say -1, then corresponding to this lambda equal to -1, you are going to solve this a minus lambda I. Okay, and then you are going to have one vector, right? If it is having some vector, then we say that this corresponding to lambda equal to -1, we have this corresponding eigenvector. So in this way, we have this corresponding to lambda naught, we have the solution, or we can say it is a eigenvector corresponding to lambda naught is a phi of x. Okay. Now, let us start to solve this. After putting that equation, what we get is, okay, let me rename this one. whatever the equation we have, this as equation 2. And next, after substitution of this, let me rename this as equation number 3. Right. Now, what we can do is actually, if this integration is with respect to t, we can take this f of x or fi of x outside because x is independent of integration. So we can take it outside from equation 3. And this equation 3, we can write it as y of x is equals to lambda summation over I. This summation over I is common for all. And this fi of x, I can take this will be fi of x, and inside the integration we have a to b gi of t y of t dt. Okay, so simply we have taken the terms which are independent of integration, we have taken it outside. Let me rename this as some equation 4. Okay, now what we have to do in the next actually is this one, whatever you are going to have integration a to b gi of t y of t dt. These are simply functions of t, and then we are going to evaluate the integration with respect to t. If they are functions of t and you are evaluating the integration with respect to t within the limits a to b, what should be the value of this term integration a to b gi of t y of t dt? Right. What will be the value? What will be the nature of this? If upper and lower limit are given to us, both are constant. We are in the case of Redall integral equation.
Some constant value in terms of a and b.
It may be in terms of A and B, that we can rename. We can write it as CI, no, where I is running from 1 to up to so on, n, whatever the values of n we have. Okay, so let us name this as equation 5. Why we are going to name? Because later on we have to use these all the equations. Okay, so now what will be the equation number 3? What will be the equation number 3? Or rather we can say equation 4. What will be the equation 4? After using the value of equation 5, it will be lambda summation over I fi of x. Okay. Now value of this whole bracket is nothing but simply the constant Ci. Okay. Now let us name this as equation number 6. So now we are going to solve this equation 6 so that we can find out the values of those constant, and correspondingly we can find out the value of a lambda. Okay. So to solve that equation number 5, we are going to evaluate that means we are going to use a method that we are going to multiply both sides of equation 5 successively by g1 g2 up to so on gn of x. Okay, let me write down this step. After that you will understand why we have multiplied. Okay, what the method we are going to follow is to find out the values of those constant, uh, multiply both side of equation 5 successively by multiply both side of equation 5, or sorry, equation 6. This equation actually we want to solve the values of those constant, so that's why we are going to multiply both side of equation 6 by g1x g2x and up to so on gn of x. Okay, and we are going to integrate those equation within the limits a to b. Okay, so first we will multiply the equation 6 by g1 of x into y of x, and what is the next thing we will do is we are going to integrate is equals to lambda integration a to b summation over I fi of x into, first we have to multiply the first equation by g1 of x into some constant ci into dx. Okay, as we are going to integrate with respect to x. Now let us name it as some a1. Okay. Okay, why we are going to multiply by g1, g2 and so on gn, because we if we want to find out the values of those constants ci, then only we are going to find out the solution y of x, correct? So simply to find out the solution of ci, it is not possible, no? So what will be this equation? Can anyone tell me? It will be of the form y of x is equal to lambda f1 c1 plus lambda f2 c2 and so on. Barabar? So if it is like this, that means if you want to find out the solution of say the equation like say fx square plus g y is equal to 0. Single equation in two variable, that is x and y. So what will be this? It will be having infinitely many solution. Na? A single equation in a two variable. Right now? Sanga, I am not asking about this. I am asking about this one. Single equation in two variable x and y. How many solutions it will have?
Yes, ma'am, it will have infinite solutions.
How? Can anyone explain me, or rather, can you give me some reason where you have studied this? Simultaneous equation ऐकलेत कुठे? In that, let me remind you. Have you heard this that we have no solution, zero solution, infinitely many solution, unique solution? Have you heard this? If you haven't heard, you have to go and to your BSc notes books and you have to study this one. Okay, simultaneous equation we have the types of solutions are whatever we obtained are the either no solution, zero solution, infinitely many solution, or we may get a unique solution. In that we are having the case of this now. That augmented matrix we are going to see what is a rank of augmented matrix. If it is less than number of unknowns, what will be the result if rank of augmented matrix is exactly equal to number of unknowns, and if rank of augmented matrix is greater than number of unknowns, what are the solutions and what are the cases? Okay, that you have to tell me in the next lecture at any cost. Let me go for this. If you want to find out the solution of this equation, so for that, what we have to do, we are going to multiply by g1, g2 and so on correspondingly. We are going to solve this in such a way that we'll get the values of those constant terms. Okay. So what will be the next equation is integration a to b. Next multiplier is g2 of x on both side of our equation number 6. It is equals to lambda integration a to b summation over I fi of x into g2 of x ci dx, which is our equation say a2. And in this way, we will have many equation. And let me write down the finally last one, that is we are going to multiply by gn of x into y of x dx is equal to lambda integration a to b summation over I fi of x gn of x into ci dx. Now let us rename this as equation say an. Now we want to solve these a1 up to so on an. That is, we will solve now n equations in n unknown. it is easy to solve an equation in n unknown. So now after solving these equation, we'll get the values of those constant terms, right? So now what we will use, now we are going to use our equation number fifth. What is equation fifth? Uh, this one, Ci. Ci is equal to di of t y of t dt. This equation we can use in the above equation, that is a1, a2 up to an. Okay, what is our equation 5? Let me write down integration a to b. Yes, it is nothing but gi of t y of t. Now, where we can use this integration a to b gi of t y of t dt, we can write this instead of having this whole integration, we can rename this as a ci. Okay, in the equations a1 to an. Put it here, right hand side ला का left hand side. Where we can use this. Okay, still no response. So for that, yeah, this t and x are simply the dummy variable. Na? We can change these at any stage of an integration. So g1 of x into y of x. So instead of having that, we can have gi of t, y of t. So what will be the value of this term? This whole term we can rename this as c1. This one will be nothing but c2, and so on. This whole term will be nothing but your c3. So this is what your equation number 5 we have obtained by renaming those constants ci. That is this whole value of integration. We can rename this as some constant ci because these limits of integrations are a to b, that is some constant numbers are given to us. So what we can do is now by using equation 5 in equation a1 to an, so we can now replace these terms by c1, c2 up to so on cn, right? So now let me write down the next. So the same equation a1, a2 up to so on n, we have to write down once again in such a way that we get it as c1. So first here we have the term of integration that we can have a1 lambda summation over I 1 to n, we can take it common, and this ci also we can take common. Integration a to b, what is a term? fi of x into first multiplier is g1 of x and dx. Okay, we can take here. First one is whatever the term here we have, that we have renamed it c1, and this ci we can take outside, and this summation also we can take outside, and we can have the value of this term is inside the integration a to b fi of x g1 of x dx. Similarly, I can write the second equation, that is our a2. So we can rename this as a1 itself because simply we have substituted the value of a c1, c2 and so on. So summation is summation over I 1 to n ci integration a to b. What is our second multiplier? It is nothing but g2 of x dx. This we can have, it is nothing but your a2. And in this way, we can have the many equations. We can write it as lastly Cn is equal to lambda summation over I 1 to n Ci integration a to b fi of x into gn of x dx. So this is what our equation number an we have obtained by substituting the values of c1, c2 up to so on cn. Now we can solve these equations in terms of c1, c2, c3 in such a way that we get the values of those terms, right? So for that, what we will do firstly, whatever the terms we have here, okay. Again, if you have these terms, in every integration we have a fi of x into g1, next fi of x into some another term g2, next fi of x into some another term gn. But here fi is constant, and here the change is for g1, g2 up to so on gn, right? So for that, what we will do, we will substitute this as some another constant alpha ji, right? Because limits of integrations are constant. So after solving this whole integration, we'll no doubt we are going to get some constant. So that we will rename it some alpha ji integration a to b, right? Fi of x into g j of x. Okay, wherever you are having the value of j, for different values of j, we are having a1 up to so on an equation, right? So for that, we can have the next number is equation number 7 for this, because if you see here, every equation have fi of x into g1, fi of x into g2, and so on. So fi is fixed out and g is going to vary. So for that, we have renamed it as a fi of x into gj. That will be some another constant alpha ji, since the limit of integrations are constant. Okay. So now what will be the equation you can see here is, let me write down the equation 1. What will be our equation 1? C1 is equal to, right? C1 is equal to, what is the next term? Lambda integration. Okay, lambda integration I runs from 1 to n. Okay, what is the next term? Ci. Okay. What is the value of this integration? A to b fi of x into g1. A to b fi of x into g1. So what will be the value of that term? Will be alpha 1I, because fi is fixed out and j is varying. Okay, j is varying. J is varying g1, g2 up to so on gn. So fi we have fixed out. So what will be the value of that constant is alpha 1j. Okay, j is fixed out. J is fixed out, and I will be fi of x. Okay. So in this way, let me write down this equation as a C1 is equals to lambda. After writing in the form of addition, we can write it as C1, right? Alpha 1 1 plus C2 alpha 1 2 plus up to so on. The last term will be Cn alpha 1 n. Okay, this I will be varying here, and here the I will j will vary in gj, and here it will vary, because here wherever you are having I, you have to vary the values. Okay, now let me solve this equation and then we will write down the next equation. First we'll solve for c1, and then whatever the things we got, we will write down similarly for c2 c3 up to so on cn. Okay, so for that, let me write down C1 outside. What will be the resultant? 1 minus lambda alpha 1 1 is equal to, or we can write it as with minus sign also, minus lambda. What is the next term? Minus lambda alpha 1 2 into C2 minus lambda C3 alpha 1 3 and so on, minus Cn, and here is lambda C1n. Okay, so if it is done, so what we can do actually, we can take C1 common, and this will be 1 minus lambda alpha 1 1. Okay, is the idea clear up to this?
हॅलो
हाँ.
हॅलो मॅम, प्लीज रिपीट करता का परत एकदा?
का बरं, तुमचं लक्ष नव्हता का? हो नाही.
नाही मॅम, थोड्या स्टेप्स ते कळाले नाही.
Okay. What we have done, actually we have an equation, that is, first we have separable kernel. We have to solve homogeneous Fredholm integral equation of a second kind. In that, we have just substituted the value of k of xt. Equation 2 we have substituted in equation 1. What is k of xt? It is nothing but your separable kernel. That means it is some function in the form of x and t only. And then after substitution of this, equation 3 you will get In that, you can have the term of fi of x outside of the integration, since integration is with respect to t. Okay. After that, we can have the solution lambda naught. I have just taken the things that whatever the things you have studied in the linear algebra, eigenvalues and eigenvector. So for that, we can have corresponding to lambda naught, we can have some corresponding eigenvector. Now what we have to do, we have just taken the value of f of x outside, and in equation 4, we can substitute the value of those integration a to b, because upper and lower limit are fixed out. So hence the value of this whole integration will be some constant. And after substituting the value of that CR, we have got the equation 6. Now, if I want to find out the value of equation 6, or rather if you want to solve the equation 6 for a different values of Ci, okay, we want to find out the values of C1, C2 and so on. So for that, a single equation in n variable we cannot solve. Rather, it will have infinitely many solutions. So for that, what we have done, we have just multiplied the value of a g1 of x for first, and next we have multiplied g2 and so on gn. So in that way, we have created an equation in n unknown, right? So these are a1, a2 up to so on an. We have multiplied by g1, g2 and so on gn, and we have integrated. And next, what we have done, simply we have substituted the value of those LHS, that is g1 into y of x, that will be nothing but your c1, from where, from your equation number 5. ओके, इक्वेशन 4 मध्ये जे इंटिग्रेशनचा व्हॅल्यू होता ते इक्वेशन 5 आहे, ते व्हॅल्यू सबस्टिट्यूट केली. ओके, आफ्टर सबस्टिट्यूटिंग दॅट व्हॉट वी हॅव डन, simply we have renamed one more constant, that is integration a to b fi of x into gj of t. Okay, in every equation the value of g1, g2 and so on, that is value of j is varying. Okay, fi is fixed out, that is fi is there. Okay, so for that we have just renamed this as alpha ji, and then simply we have written this equation. Okay, and the next, now we can have this equation as, okay, now as we have done the simplifications in equation, so this will be equal to 0. So, okay, we can rename this as sum b1. Many simplification we have done. The equation a1 now converted to b1. In the very similar way, this is what a equation we have obtained. Very similar way, we can have the equation c2 is equals to lambda summation over I runs from 1 to n ci alpha 2i. Similarly, we can have another equation. What will be our next equation? C3 is equal to lambda summation over I runs from 1 to n ci lambda 3i. And in this way, we can have the last equation can be Cn is equal to lambda summation over I runs from 1 to n ci alpha n I. And whatever the equation b1 we have obtained, now at least you can answer this. What will be b2? हे बघून सांगू शकतो ना b2 इक्वेशन b2 काय असेल? Okay, minus lambda c1 alpha 2 1. Okay, here 2 is fixed out, I is going to vary. It will be 2 1, 2 2, 2 3 and so on. The first c1 will be as it is. The next term will be, as we are going to take a c2 common. From here it will have c2 common, from second third equation c3 common. In the first equation we have taken c1 common. इथे c2 असेल, इथे पण c2 येणार आहे. इथे c3 आहे, इथे पण c3 येणार आहे. Okay, so let me take a c2 outside. It will be 1 minus lambda alpha 2 2, right? Plus, sorry, minus, it will be next is minus lambda c3 alpha 2 3 and so on, minus lambda cn alpha 2n is equals to 0. Similarly, we can now rename this as some equation b2. Now a2 have been converted to b2. Now what will be the equations? The next equation will have C3 outside 1 minus lambda alpha 3 3. Okay. So in this way we can have the last equation, we can write it is minus lambda. Now it is Cn, nth equation, alpha n1, and next is minus alpha Cn alpha n2, and so on. Next, the last term will be Cn 1 minus lambda alpha nn. From the last equation Cn, this equation, from this equation here also there will be a term of a Cn. Cn we can take common, and hence we can have this equation. Now we can rename this as some Bn. So instead of having the equations a1, a2 up to so on an, now we have converted these equations with by using the values of constant, that is Ci's and alpha Ji. We have renamed this as B1, B2 up to so on Bn. And if you have done it, what we can say, this is what our homogeneous equation. No, homogeneous equation, if you have studied in our BSc, Ax is equal to 0. Homogeneous equation. In differential equation, we have all studied. If b of x is 0, then we say that it is homogeneous. Correct? Now, whatever the equations you are able to see here, this is our equation number B1. Okay. This is C1 1 minus lambda alpha 1 1 minus lambda C2 alpha 1 2 and so on. Okay. Similarly, B2 minus lambda C1 alpha 2 1 C2 1 minus lambda alpha 2 2 and so on. In the very similar way, we can have the last equation. Now, these equations we can now write down in the form of Ax is equal to 0. So, for that, let me write down this equation, that is whatever the value of this A is nothing but some some matrix. So that matrix we can write as we C1, C2, C3 up to Cn are unknowns. So that's why let me write down the matrix will be of the form 1 minus lambda alpha 1 1, second term minus lambda alpha 1 2 minus lambda alpha 1 3, and so on. What will be the last term? Minus lambda alpha 1 n. Similarly, we can have this as minus lambda alpha 2 1. Next is 1 minus lambda alpha 2 2. And here it is minus lambda alpha 2 3. And so on. Minus lambda alpha 2 n. And so on. We can have the last equation, we can write it as minus lambda alpha n1. Minus lambda alpha, sorry, this is n1. Nth equation, no, n2. And so on. The last is minus 3 plus, it will be 1 minus lambda alpha n n. So here we get the sum matrix in the form of lambda. This is what a coefficient matrix now. आठवते का coefficient matrix? Differential equation paper.
Yes, ma'am.
We have solving for lambda, right? So, and these equations, whatever a1, a2 up to so on an, we have converted it in the form of b1, b2 up to so on bn. Now we have to solve all these equations for values of c1, c2 up to so on cn, right? So for that, we have written this d lambda. Okay. Now, if you remember, I have many times I have told you in the paper of a differential equation, we are having the two cases. That is, if d lambda is not equal to 0 and if d lambda equal to 0. Okay. What is the case for d lambda not equal to 0? That means your coefficient matrix, if it is not equal to 0, what is the resultant case? Many times I have written this, no? If we are having this Ax is equal to 0, determinant of A equal to 0, determinant of A not equal to 0. आठवते का कुणाला?
Ma'am, if determinant of A is 0, the inverse does not exist.
No doubt inverse does not exist, but what will be the case of for the solution? We are finding this for solutions, no? That means we want to find out the values of C1, C2, up to so on Cn.
If if determinant is not zero, then all the Ci will be zeros.
Correct. Now it is correct. Determinant non-zero. That means all Ci's are zero. Barabar na?
Yes, ma'am.
Here having Ax is equal to zero because if we are saying that the product of these two is zero, either one of them should be zero, right? If we are saying the value of determinant is non-zero, so what should be the consideration? The values of these x. What are these in x? Ax. Okay, in this case, we are having the d lambda. That means your coefficient matrix is this one. So what will be the case? The values of those constants Ci should be 0. Right. So hence, in the case of d lambda not equal to 0 or the coefficient matrix, if it is not equal to 0, what will be the direct case? We can say C1, C2 up to so on, Cn is equal to 0. Now there is no much more interested to have a zero solution. No, C1, C2, C3 up to so on, Cn. If they are 0, we are not much more interested in trivial solution. Right. So for that, we can go for the case 2. What will be our case 2? If d lambda is equal to 0. If d lambda is equal to 0 means what? The value of this determinant is equal to 0. Hence, now we can find out the value of z. X. So if d lambda equal to 0 means what? The value of this determinant, whatever we have. ये determinant है ना, they equal to 0 कराएगा. Okay. We are going to take it as equal to 0. We can find out the value of this determinant for lambda. Okay. So we are going to get one characteristic equation or one polynomial in terms of lambda. बरोबर ना? We are going to get one polynomial in terms of lambda. If you are going to equate this matrix, or rather if you are going to find out the determinant of this matrix and if we are going to equate it to 0, it will be an equation in terms of lambda. Okay. If it is in equation in terms of lambda, can anyone tell me what will be the degree of equation? Or rather, what will be the degree of a lambda in that equation?
Ma'am, lambda raised to n.
Okay, lambda raised to n, right? So if it is lambda raised to n, assuming, I hope you have assumed we are having all values. Sometimes some values may be 0. Okay. So for that, so the degree of whatever the equation we are obtaining, let me rename this as some equation, say Roman. Okay, whatever the value of this coefficient matrix we have. The same matrix we have to write down here and we have to find out the value of determinant equating to 0. So we'll get one equation in terms of lambda. So assuming that whatever the equation we have solved, equation 1, the degree of a lambda is m. Okay, which is less than or equal to n. Assuming that if we are having all the values are non-zero, then we can have the degree of lambda is n. And if some terms are 0, the degree of lambda will be m. Okay, it follows that the integral equation with when whatever the equation 1 we have solved as separable kernel given equation 2, then it has at most n eigenvalues, at most, right? But what we can say here, in this way we have found the values of a lambda. What we have seen, what we have told here, the value of lambda, that is degree of a lambda, is m, which is less than or equal to n, or rather we can say the degree is at most n, right? The degree of a lambda is at most n. So suppose that we have got one equation, say lambda raised to n, some constant and so on, which is equal to 0. So we are going to solve this equation in terms of lambda and then we are going to get the root. Right, suppose that value of n is equal to 3. How many roots we are going to get? We are going to get 3 roots.
At most
The
3.
value of at most 3. If you are having the value of n is equal to 100, then we can have at least 100 roots. Sorry, at most 100 roots we will have. So what are those roots? These are nothing but your eigenvalues. Correct? So in this way, how many eigenvalues are possible? At most n eigenvalues are possible. And then if you solve those eigenvalues, then we can get the solutions. Okay. So in this way, what we have got, the cases 1 and 2 shows that if d lambda not equal to 0, we'll get trivial solution, and if d lambda equal to 0, we'll get the solution for different values of eigenvalues. Okay, that is for different values of lambda, we get different solutions. Okay, any doubt up to this? Let me repeat the things. First, we have a separable kernel. That means a kernel which can be written in the form of sum of product of functions of x and t only. Right? And then we have substituted the value of k of x in equation 1, which is nothing but equation 3. After that, we have taken the terms of x outside. And then we have renamed the equation 4 by using that box, वो जो भी bracket है, हमने उसको equation 5 से replace किया. Right? After that, what we have done, if you want to find out the values of those constant, if you want to eliminate, then for that we have just multiplied the g1, g2 up to so on for every equation 6, and then we have integrated both side by both side in with respect to dx within the limits a to b. And then after renaming those constant by using our equation 5, we got it is c1, c2. That is RHS we have already renamed by using our equation 5. And then afterwards that fi of x into g1, that is gj. Okay, j is varying in every equation a1 to an. And hence after substituting all those values, we have solved it for value of a lambda. Okay, now here we get an equation in an unknown, and then we can have the solutions as x is equal to 0 means the coefficient matrix may be value of the coefficient matrix. If you are going to solve, it may be either 0 or non-zero. Depending on that, we have two cases. The first is d lambda not equal to 0 means what? Values of those constants are 0, and d lambda equal to 0 means what? We have to solve this determinant for lambda. And if you are going to solve this determinant for lambda, you can see here. This determinant we have to solve for lambda. Assuming that, let us take it is equal to 0. This solve करायचा. Okay. After solving this, what we can get is degree of this lambda may be at most n. That means we are going to get at most n roots of our equation. And these n roots are nothing but your eigen values. Hence, we are getting the two cases. That is either we have trivial solution or non-trivial solution. For different values of lambda, we get different non-trivial solutions. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let me solve one example. Solve the homogeneous Fredol integral equation. The question is solve the homogeneous Fredol integral equation. If the question is like this, it is good. Right? Solve homogeneous Fredol integral equation. If suppose the question is simply like this, solve y of x is equals to lambda integration 0 to 1 e raised to x e raised to t y of t dt. At that time, after completion of whole syllabus, you will be confused. Which method should be applied? What is the kernel? Which type of a kernel we have? Because many types of kernel we have. We have separable kernel, dgen, another kernels also have. That I will tell you later on. Thus, you will be confusing. In every type, we are having one kernel. Okay. So you will be confused that which kernel should be used, which method should be applied, whether which equation this is. If you want to see if upper and lower limit are given, then it is nothing but your Fredol. And if f of x is equal to 0, it is homogeneous. Then we can solve this equation after verifying the type of a kernel. Okay. Depending on the type of a kernel, we have different method to solve any integral equation. Okay. So if the question is simply solve, it is difficult. If it is given that solve homogeneous Fredol integral equation, half work is done, because which method should be applied, you can now verify. Okay. So let us now find out the solution of this equation. What is our equation? Y of x is equals to lambda integration 0 to 1 e raised to x e raised to t y of t dt. In the method, whatever we have done, we have to do the same procedure. Okay.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
in the question they have not mentioned it is separable or not, but in the definition of separable, that it is given that it is expressed as sum of finite number of terms. Here only single term is given, na?
Right, sum of finite number of terms, it may be true, na? It is simply e raised to x into e raised to t. Plus I can add 0. एक ही टर्म है ना, सम ऑफ फाइनाइट नंबर ऑफ टर्म्स, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आपको दो टर्म ही चाहिए, राइट? यहाँ पे क्या है, आई रन फ्रॉम 1 to 0, सॉरी, here we can have I runs from 1 to n, na? So if I is equal to 1, what will be the resultant? f1 of x into g1 of t, na? Only one term is sufficient. Barabar?
Yes,
Is it?
ma'am.
No. If it is okay, simply one term we have. That is, which is in terms of, first term is in terms of x and second is in terms of t. Okay. After writing this, what we have done in our method, the next step we have applied is e raised to x we have taken common. Just like our method, we have taken the common terms is f of x because it is independent of integration. Here you can see fi of x we have taken common from equation 3 and we have just taken the terms which are with the integration. That is the terms which are involving t. E raised to t y of t dt. What is the next step we have done? We have renamed this as some constant ci. Now we are having only one term, so that's why we can write it as y of x is equals to lambda e raised to x into c. Or you can write it as c1 c simply. As we are having one equation, so that's why we can write it as simply c. Yes, write it as equation 1. And this is 2, and let me write this as an equation 3. So here you can say what is c? C is nothing but integration 0 to 1 e raised to t y of t dt. Okay. This is what say equation number 4, since value of c is important. Now you can see here, let me go back, whatever see here, whatever the things we have seen in the method. Okay, here also we have done what is our equation 6. So after renaming the value of this constant, we can have y of x is equal to lambda, the terms of x into constant. What we have done in the next step, we have multiplied and so on. This is true for many equations if you have. Now if you are having say in a single equation, for that what we have to do, we have to find out the values of those constants c. Instead of having many constant, we have only one constant. Okay. So this equation number 3, I can write it as y of t is equal to lambda e raised to t c. So this equation now I can put it in equation 4 as we want to find out the value of c. Okay. So c is equal to integration 0 to 1 e raised to t. Y of t is nothing but lambda e raised to t into c dt. Okay. Simply equation 3 we have written in terms of t and then we have substituted it in equation 4. Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Simply y of t we have to substitute, no? After substituting the value of y of t, we can solve the equation. So which is c is equal to c times this lambda also we can take common 0 to 1 e raised to 2t dt. Right, lambda and c I have taken common, e raised to t, that will be e raised to 2t. Okay, now you have to tell me the value of this integration.
e raised to 2t upon 2.
Okay. Within the limits 0 to 1, and hence we can have C is equal to C lambda, this divided by 2 as it is, here e raised to 2 minus e raised to 0. Value of t we have substituted. It is e square minus e raised to 0 is 1, right? So now we can solve this equation for finding the value of c. So I can take c common just like we have done in the method, is 1 minus lambda upon 2 into e square minus 1, which is equal to 0. Now you can solve this equation because simply you are having only one equation. So we can have the trivial solution as well as non-trivial solution. Barabar? So here also we can write for c equal to 0. If c is 0 in this equation, the product of these two terms is 0. That means either one of them is 0. Or in another way, we can have except c, whatever we have, which will be equal to 0. If c is 0, what will be the resultant case? Y will be 0. No? If c is 0, what will be our equation y of x? It will be equal to 0, trivial solution. Equation 3 now. Our equation 3 will be, if c is 0, equation 3 that is y of x will be equal to 0. Or in another case, we have second case, that is this whole term will be 0. This whole term is equal to 0. What will be the resultant? Lambda by 2 e square minus 1 is equal to 1, which means lambda is equals to 2 upon e square minus 1. So what are the cases? If c is 0, we will get trivial solution. If c is non-zero, you can consider the case here, c is non-zero. We can have the solution, that is lambda is equal to 2 upon e square is a eigenvalue. Okay, and then the corresponding eigenfunction will be y of x is equal to, what is our equation 3? Lambda e raised to x into c. Okay, here we have the cases c equal to 0, y of x is 0. c non-zero असेल तर लॅम्बडाची व्हॅल्यू काय आली होती आपली 2 upon e square minus 1 into e raised to x, or c is non-zero. And hence we get corresponding to this lambda, we get this solution, and this 2 into c upon e square minus 1, all these are constant. We can rename this as some constant, say c1 e raised to x. And hence we can say y of x is equal to c1 e raised to x is a solution corresponding to lambda lambda is equal to 2 upon e square. That is, we can say this is a non-trivial solution. Okay? Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let me solve one example. You also have to solve this example with me. And then I will give some homework for you. As I told you that we are having simply methods and example. Write down with me y of x is equal to, simply the question is solve. Again, this is in the form of a functions of x and functions of t only. As it is a Fredol integral equation, upper and lower limit are constant, and f of x is 0. Hence, it is in the case of homogeneous Fredol integral equation of a second kind. And after seeing the kernel, you can verify which method should be applied. As in the kernel itself, we can see this is nothing but a sum of product of functions of x only and t only. Okay. Have you written?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is the next step? What we have to do? Simply we have to take terms of x outside. Next, this value of integration will be some constant because since limits are given to us, so we can have this as some constant c. As we are not having many values of c, we can have simply one constant, say c. Right. So what is the value of c we have obtained is integration 0 to 1 t y of t dt. Okay, let us have the name for this. This is our given equation 1. This is our equation 2. This is equation 3. And the value of equation c is nothing but here 4. Right. Now we have to put up the value of equation 3 in 4. C is equal to 0 to 1 t. Value of y of t we can write it as lambda 3t minus 2 into c and this dt as it is. Correct? Value of y of t from equation 3 I have substituted. Written up to this. In the first step, we have to take the terms of x outside of the integration since integration is with respect to t. In the next step, integration is within the limits 0 to 1. So you will get some constant that we have renamed as c. Then after writing the value of c, use equation 3 in terms of t in equation 4. Equation 3 चा use केलं ना 4 मध्ये y of t च्या value substitute केले. Okay, next step we have to solve this integration.
I of x is coming to be 0.
Okay. T will be t cube upon 3 minus 2 t square by 2 within the limit 0 to 1. So what is answer? 1 minus 0. T3 get cancelled. Minus 2 get cancelled. It will be again 1 minus 0. So obviously it will be 1 minus 1 0. Since what we get the answer is c is equal to lambda c into 0. So what we can say now? If we are getting this term as 0, rather you can write this as c minus lambda into c. Okay. If this is 0, obviously c is not equal to 0. Or in another way, we can say if c is equal to 0, we will get a trivial solution, that is y of x is equal to 0. Okay. So we can say now that we are not having any characteristic value and not a characteristic function. Nothing is clear from this equation, no? So hence in the next step you can write there is no eigenvalue, or you can say there is no characteristic value, and hence there is no eigenfunction or no characteristic function. Okay. Those who have done with this, you can solve the next example.
And what is the case if C is not equal to 0, then lambda equal to 1?
C is non-zero, lambda is 1. No doubt we are having the different cases, but what we have to show actually, अगर यहाँ पे आप ये इक्वेशन को केयरफुली देखोगे, C is equal to lambda C into 0. What is the resultant of this equation lambda into C into 0, which means that C equal to 0. That will be a y of x equal to 0. Okay. अगर आप इसको ऐसे भी देख सकते हो, यहाँ पे ये टर्म 0 है, इसका मतलब C नॉट इक्वल टू 0. एक्चुअली दिस इक्वेशन डजंट क्लेरिफाई एनीथिंग. कुछ भी क्लियर नहीं है ना इसमें. अगर ये टर्म 0 है तो हम अज्यूम भी कर सकते हैं ना C इज नॉन जीरो, बिकॉज वी कैन नॉट से व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ अ C. If C is non-zero, what will be the case? And if suppose we are saying like this, here is 0, 0 into lambda into C, 0 into anything is 0, and hence value of C is 0. This is not possible, ना? यहाँ पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं, lambda into C into 0 is equal to 0, hence we are saying that C is 0. But what is actual case? We have to solve it by using C outside 1 minus lambda into that 0 is equal to 0. So product of these two is equal to 0. So either of them should be 0. But this is also not clear, since here we have C minus lambda into some 0. Okay. So here also you are getting C is equal to 0. बरोबर ना?
Yes, ma'am.
ये जो इक्वेशन हमने ऑब्टेन किया है, इस ये क्लियर ही नहीं होता है कि हम C के वैल्यूज क्या चूज करें. So at that time we can assume that value of C, if it is equal to 0, we have y of x is equal to 0. जहाँ पे 0 आता है हम डायरेक्टली प्रोडक्ट 0 लिखते हैं ना, बट यहाँ पे एक्चुअली हमको स्टेप्स कैसे सॉल्व करना है. आफ्टर टेकिंग वैल्यू ऑफ C आउटसाइड 1 माइनस लैम्डा इंटू 0. 0 हम किसी भी स्टेप में कैरी नहीं कर सकते ना. अगर यहाँ पे कोई कांस्टेंट होता तो हम यहाँ पे 1 माइनस लैम्डा इंटू 2 इक्वल टू 0 वी कैन से. But here there nothing is clear. Hence we can say if C is 0, we can have y of x is equal to 0. Or in another way, we can say there is no characteristic value, there is no eigenvalue. Or you can say y of x is equal to 0 is the only solution of this equation. Those who have solved, you can solve lambda integration 0 to 1 sin pi x cos pi t y of t dt. Try to solve this one.
Hello, ma'am.
Hmm.
C is equal to minus 1 by 2. Minus 1 by 2 into C lambda upon pi.
वन बाय टू येते हैं.
Hello, ma'am. There is no characteristic value allowed.
Right. Again, we are getting the same case, na? C is equal to lambda C by 2 into 0.
Yes,
Sin
ma'am.
2 pi minus. असं झालं ना, C is equal to lambda C by 2 sin 0.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, what we can say is there is no characteristic value, no characteristic function. In the next lecture, we will solve for C1, C2. Okay, you can write one example for homework. Try to solve for C1, C2. Okay. Up to now, we are solving for C only one constant. Try to solve this example. Y of x is equal to lambda integration 0 to 1 6x minus t y of t dt. Try to solve this because here we get two constant. This is some constant C1 after taking this x outside, and this is some another constant C2. We will get some equations in terms of C1 and C2. Try to solve, otherwise we'll solve in the next lecture. Okay. If you're not having a doubt, you can leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Still 5 students, 3 were remaining. Anupama Hadre, Kiran Appagonde, Shraddha Kalshetty. रिमूव्ह करावं लागतं काही लोकांना मीटिंग मधून लिव्ह करा म्हणलं तर कुठे तर गेलेले असतात.